The storm outside hammered against the tall glass windows of the Ashford estate when Leonard Ashford, the billionaire known for his cold precision and ruthless business instincts, decided to test the one person he wasn't sure he could trust, the maid's daughter. He lay on the velvet sofa in the grand study, eyes closed, breath leveled, pretending to sleep while the wind howled through the night. Shadows crawled across the walls as the chandelier flickered, and he listened for the soft footsteps he knew would come. He had overheard something earlier, something that planted suspicion in his mind, and tonight he wanted answers. But nothing, not even his vast fortune or iron control over his world, could have prepared him for what she would do next. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of doing good when no one is watching, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It helps more people discover stories like this one. Leonard Ashford was not easily unsettled, but something about Lily Sanchez had gnawed at him for weeks. She was younger than most of the household staff, studying during the day and helping her mother in the evenings. She never asked for anything, never looked him directly in the eye longer than needed, and never complained, even when the workload doubled. Her presence was quiet but steady, like a candle glowing at the edge of a dark hallway, yet one overheard conversation changed everything. Earlier that afternoon, while passing by the pantry, he heard the butler whispering to a new assistant that poor families were always tempted by expensive things. Then he added that the girl should not be trusted around valuables. Leonard didn't intervene, not immediately. Instead, he waited, thinking about the possibility, the risk, the fear that someone under his roof might betray him. And it wasn't the fear of losing things that bothered him, but the idea of being wrong about someone, of letting his heart soften when the world had taught him better. The household staff had seen him broken once, years ago, after his brother betrayed him in the company they built together, stealing funds, forging documents, leaving Leonard to face legal battles and humiliation. Since then, he had trusted no one. Every new employee was observed silently, every kindness measured and questioned. Lily, with her soft-spoken manner and fragile-looking hands, made him feel something unfamiliar, protective, hopeful, and he hated that vulnerability. So that night, while the rain battered the mansion and the thunder rolled in the distance, Leonard arranged several priceless items across the study. A gold pen, a diamond cufflink, a wallet with several $100 bills visible, a watch his father once wore. He placed them where any wandering eyes would notice. He wanted to see what Lily would do when left alone with wealth. The clock ticked as the door creaked open. Soft footsteps approached. He could sense her presence before she even entered fully, carrying the faint scent of laundry soap and jasmine. She paused at the threshold, likely wondering why the lights were dimmed and the atmosphere so heavy. Leonard kept his breathing steady, pretending to sleep. Sheets of rain drummed against the window. The soft shuffle of Lily's shoes reached him, and the test began. She walked quietly, stepping closer to the sofa. He felt her gaze linger on his face, probably checking whether he needed a blanket or if he had dozed off while reading. Then she noticed the items scattered around. He waited. He expected hesitation, maybe temptation, or even fear. But what she did was something he never anticipated. Without touching anything, Lily slowly sat on the floor beside his sofa, gently sliding off her worn backpack. From inside she pulled out a small sewing kit, the kind with mismatched threads and a dull needle. Then she took the gold pen, not to steal it, but to examine the loose cap that had been falling off for weeks. Leonard had forgotten about it completely, but she hadn't. She had noticed it during her cleaning shifts, noticed the scratch marks on the cap, and apparently made a mental note to fix it when she had the chance. Still pretending to be asleep, Leonard felt his chest tighten as she carefully repaired the loose cap with thread so fine it blended into the pen. When she finished, she polished it on her sleeve, placed it back exactly where it had been, and reached for the watch. The leather strap had been cracked for years. She handled it like a fragile treasure, dabbing a tiny amount of cream from a small jar she carried to condition the strap. With delicate motions, she softened the leather, restoring some of its flexibility and smoothing its surface. Then she placed it lovingly beside him, as if paying respect to the memory of someone she'd never met. What stunned him next was when she opened her small backpack again and took out her school notebook, pages yellowed at the edges, filled with scribbles and solved equations. She tore out a page, folded it neatly, and placed it under his wallet, which she didn't touch. She didn't count the money. She didn't check the cards. Instead, she left the note and moved to gather her things. When she stood up to leave, Leonard waited until the door clicked shut, then opened his eyes. The room felt warmer somehow, as if someone had lit a gentle flame inside him. He picked up the folded note first, opening it slowly as the storm quieted for a moment. "Sir," the note read in simple handwriting, "your wallet was slipping close to the edge. I moved it back so it wouldn't fall. I hope you're resting well. Please drink warm tea when you wake. The weather is cold tonight." The simplicity of it hit him with the force of thunder. This girl, struggling with debts, studying with old books, wearing shoes with worn soles, had touched nothing except to fix the things that belonged to him. While he had tested her with suspicion, she had treated his belongings with care, respect, and quiet kindness. The next morning, Leonard watched her from the balcony as she helped her mother in the garden, wrapping her thin sweater tighter around herself to fight the cold. She didn't know he had seen everything. She didn't know she had passed a test he now regretted giving. But he wanted to know more, who she was, what she dreamed of, how she lived with so little but still managed to give so much of herself. Over the next few days, he observed silently as Lily helped others without being asked. She tied one of the gardener's shoelaces because he had difficulty bending. She left a bowl of soup on the doorstep of a sick housekeeper. She returned an expensive brooch she found under a carpet, walking all the way to the head housekeeper's office just to hand it over. These were small acts, but they added up to something extraordinary. She had a heart that stayed kind even when the world demanded hardness. Leonard learned from her mother one afternoon that Lily worked part-time jobs to help pay for her evening college classes. They lived in a small room in the servants' quarters, sharing what little they had. Lily dreamed of studying interior design someday, but tuition was far beyond what they could manage. She never complained, she simply worked, saved, and hoped. An unexpected warmth began growing in Leonard's chest, something he hadn't felt in years. Her integrity humbled him. Her gentle resilience stirred something deeply buried inside him, a longing to trust, to believe in goodness again. It made him reflect on himself, on the walls he had built, and on the harsh judgments he made out of fear rather than truth. Days later, Leonard gathered the staff in the main hall under the pretense of thanking them for a successful season. He spoke with calm confidence, but his heart pounded with anticipation. Then he called Lily forward. She stepped out from the crowd hesitantly, cheeks flushed, unsure what mistake she might have made. Leonard took a slow breath, looking at her small hands, the faint traces of thread still clinging to her sleeves from fixing uniforms the previous evening. He then announced, to the shock of everyone present, that the Ashford estate would sponsor her full education, every expense covered. Her tuition, her books, her supplies, her living costs, everything. Her mother burst into tears. The staff whispered in disbelief. Lily just stood there, trembling, not knowing what to say. But she didn't need to. He saw everything he needed in the tears that finally overflowed and the way she covered her mouth, as if unable to believe it was real. Years passed, and Lily didn't waste a single day. She studied with dedication, designed part-time, and slowly built a portfolio that impressed even the most established architects. Her talent grew, her confidence blossomed, and her heart remained as kind as ever. Leonard, now more open, began to see life differently. He supported her projects, not as a billionaire testing someone, but as a mentor who believed in her. She reminded him of what humanity looked like when stripped of greed, soft, honest, hopeful. Eventually, Lily became one of the youngest interior designers to win an international design award. During her speech, she stood on stage, framed by lights, holding the microphone with shaking hands. She dedicated her success to her mother, and to the man who believed in her when she had nothing. Leonard sat in the audience silently, eyes glistening. He had given her financial support, but she had given him something infinitely greater, the chance to heal the broken parts of himself. If this story moved you, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps this channel grow and allows more heartfelt stories like this one to be told. Before the story ends, please leave a comment with one word that describes how this journey made you feel. In the end, Leonard realized that the greatest test he ever devised had revealed not her flaws, but his own. He learned that trust wasn't about wealth or fear, it was about seeing people for who they truly were when no one was watching. And Lily, with her quiet courage and unwavering kindness, showed him that even in a world full of doubt, goodness still existed, pure, gentle, and unshakable.